What is up, Dokkan player? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Blaze. Today we are back with another Dokkan battle video. And today, before we start the video, of course, hopefully you guys are having a very good day today. So today we're gonna go ahead and do a list here for the top 10 Dokkanfest TURs on the global side. Because as you guys know, global has certain characters that JP has, and JP has that global does not have here. So this would be a global tier list. So, I know it's been a minute for your boy, but I feel like with the information I have and certain characters I've actually used here, this will be based on my opinion, but these are going to be, I guess, my top 10. And then you guys can let me know down below what is your top 10. Now, one thing I will say is that I'm probably not going to include the heroes units. And the reason is because these guys are not really Dokkanfest, right? Like, they only come once a year, where these Dokkanfest, you know, as the months go by, you still have a chance to actually get them, where these guys are just, the hero units are just once a year. So, not too sure if I will include them. But for now, I will put here Super Saiyan 4 Vegito and also Super Saiyan 3 Rosé in the honorable mentions because, again, they are still really, really good. So, one thing I do want to note here is that this list is going to be based on the difficult content, how well this character does, how well his team does, or their team does in the event. And those events, of course, here, which I believe is the hardest content on global as of right now, is going to be here the Ultimate Red Zone Fusion Zamasu and, of course, Omega Shenron Bird of the Shadow Dragons. So, at number 10, I am going to go ahead and put here... who do we put here? We're going to put here the androids, Android 18 and 17. The reason why is because these guys are good, but on global, they're just not there yet. As you guys know, for the 9th anniversary that's coming up in July, these guys will be a lot better because their category, which is tournament participants, is going to be a lot better since we're going to have tons of EZAs. But as of right now, you know, it's just not really there for that category. Like, once we actually get, I mean, UI Goku's EZA, Vegeta's EZA, Blue Goku and Vegeta's EZA, like, these guys start to look a lot better, especially also with Topo, right? Because Topo is also part of the category. Now, one thing I do like about this character is that basically these characters are going to be a leader that's also going to be a support type unit because, as you guys can see, they do buff here the tournament of participants category allies key +2 attack and defense +35%. Then if you give them an extra 7 key spheres, they provide an extra key +1 and also attack +17% and defense +18%. So I do have a soft spot for this for characters who are built like this. But the only issue is that when we bring them to the full content, the problem, right, is that basically, especially now since we don't have, like, again, those good characters for Retro Universe 7, before they attack, if they get hit with an AoE, they do take a lot of damage. Like, Fusion Zamasu just completely destroys them. So, I do like that under 18 keys, sorry, not under 18 key super, under unit super attack, they do provide allies attack and defense by 35% for 2 turns, which is really, really good. But again, it does require you to have a Goku on rotation, which, again, is not the end of the world. But again, you know, it's just right now, the category that they lead is just not there at the moment until we get, of course, the anniversary. So, yeah, for now, I will say compared to the other characters I'm going to be on this roster, they're definitely going to be at number 10 in my opinion. Number 9, I am going to go ahead here with Android 21. Also, I'll try and make this as quick as possible and not make sure it's not too long a video. Android 21, kind of the same boat here as well. Very good leader skill, androids, margin power, or Peppy Gals, key +3 and 170 across the board. And an extra 30% if you're part of the power absorption, transformation boost, or crossover. So, Android 21 is good. Don't get me wrong, she gets here attack and defense +150, key +2, and then also gets additional attack and defense +120 when attacking, and also has a high chance of evading enemies' attack, including super attack within the same turn. So, again, the AoEs do definitely damage this character. She does have here a 50% chance to dodge, but again, it's only after she attacks. So, again, once we go to, like, Omega Shenron, or we go into Zamasu, I mean, she'll definitely tank well after she attacks, right? Because she does raise defense, she gets all this extra defense here as well, and also the rest of her passive. But again, it's just that AoEs just completely hurt this character. And I guess it's a way for Dokkan to make the content difficult, because again, if they didn't add AoEs, then the game would be probably too easy, right? But Android 21, again, is not a bad character. The thing that really hurts this character is going to be the active skill, because it's going to be activated when you're only facing one enemy, but starting from turn 5. That is a while, especially if you're doing like fusions of monsters, like I said before. Like the AoEs are just going to chip at you very, very quickly, especially if the other characters are the same way, where they need to attack first to get their defense. Like, it's just not going to be a very good time. So, when she actually goes to Android 21, she does become a lot better. She does recover 30% of HP, attack and defense at the start of turn 210, and she also gets here damage reduction by 21%. So, again, that's good, but when we compare it to the other characters, like let's say Vegeta, where he needs only turn 3 active skill and he has guard and damage action before that, you know, it's like night and day between Vegeta and 21, right? So, regardless, the team's still pretty good, because she does lead the androids, right? And Margin Power and Peppy Gals, where this allows you to bring like characters like LR Bulma, right? LR Bulma is just a goddess, helps with the support for 2 turns. Like, Android 21 still leads a very good team. But the unit itself, it's a character that you want to make sure that you want to try to get to the transformation as quickly as possible, but you can't really do so because, again, it's going to be a turn 5 active skill. But once you actually go into 21, she's really good. So, for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and put her at number 9 here. Number 8, this is where it gets pretty tricky. I am going to go ahead, this might be controversial, but I am going to go ahead and put here Demon King Piccolo. Demon King Piccolo is a monster. They did making a really good job for Piccolo Jr. Again, this guy is very dominant in basically all the content of Dokkan. He has a giant form, he has an active skill, he has an intro. This guy can definitely carry the team, but his biggest weakness, just like Hirudegarn, is basically that his team isn't as good. He does need Terrifying Cockroach, which is pretty good because that means you can bring Cooler, you can bring, of course, Golden Frieza. But again, the AoEs from Omega Shenron and also Fusions of Masu are going to hurt the other characters, because Piccolo can definitely tank here, right? As long as he doesn't get super right away, like Junior Piccolo, once he attacks, he is pretty good. He also gets your additional attack and defense plus 60% when he does receive an attack, and then gets additional attack and defense plus 100%, and all enemies attack and defense minus 30%, sorry, minus 30% as the first attacker in a turn. So, you don't have to put him slot 1, but, you know, he does get the extra defense here. And he can do multiple super attacks, which is just really disgusting. So, again, he is kind of, I want to say, flawed to his leader skill. But the good thing is that you don't need to put him, you don't need to run a double Piccolo Jr. because you can actually run Piccolo Jr. on a different team by himself, and he's still going to perform really well. So, I am going to go ahead and put here Piccolo Jr. over 21 and also Android 18 and 17 in my opinion. I definitely feel like Piccolo Jr. is just disgusting of what he can do here. Especially if you want to use this character for a world tournament. Like, you just spam his active skill constantly and then you just completely win. So, Piccolo Jr., I really have no complaints for this character. Either that his team does hold him back, but who knows, in the future he might get a lot better. So, for now, we're going to go and put here Piccolo Jr. in spot number 8. Spot number 7, I am going to put here, of course, World Tournament Goku. Now, you can make the argument and say Piccolo is better than Goku, which is fine. But, I mean, I would also really argue with that. But I would say here, Goku is much more consistent compared to Piccolo. Now, yes, this Goku has a pretty good leader skill. But yes, also his guard's only a 50% chance. But once you actually go into a standby, or once you actually get a revive with any of the characters, he becomes basically invincible, right? This Goku, again, it's not that difficult. I think it depends on your playstyle. But really, it's 2024, and to pop up a revival is really not that difficult, right? There's so many characters that have a revival. You have here the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and GT Goku. You have here Carnival Goku. You have Master Roshi. There's just so many characters where it's very easy to get the revival. And then once you actually get the revival, this Goku, again, he's guarding all attacks. He gets an extra defense each time he gets hit. He can do multiple super attacks while being super effective. Like, this guy right here is just disgusting, right? Once you actually pop the revival, it's pretty good. He also has here a nullification, which is only a 50% chance. But again, Goku has just so much support because, again, it's a Goku card, right? So I do think that this Goku is just much more consistent, especially with all the support that he has here compared to Demon King Piccolo. I would say it makes him better. Again, it all depends on your playstyle, but if you play it smart, if you are able to get the revival off quickly or later into the game, it's really going to benefit you because this Goku, again, gets all these stats right about here and becomes pretty much invincible. So, I do like Goku. I think this Goku is a little bit underrated, but I will put him here at number 7. But yeah, you can make the argument if you want to say Piccolo is better than Goku. I'm okay with that. But I want to put here Goku at number 7. Number 6, this is where the list gets pretty, I guess, controversial. I am going to put here God Goku, alright? Some of you might be asking, why is Rosé not... Because after God Goku, I'm going to put here Rosé. And some of you guys might say, why is he so high? Why is he not more below? Again, I think... Well, let's start with God Goku, right? God Goku is a really good Dokkanfest. The only problem I found with his character is that he's just not as consistent compared to Rosé. Yes, he leads he has a better team because his pure Saiyans are hybrid Saiyans, and he's a bunch more good categories. But the issue is that he's just not that consistent with the 6 key spheres, because you want Goku to get 6 key spheres, and you also have to run a full super class team here as well. But once you actually get the full 6 key spheres, he gets your guard, I believe. Where is it? Yeah, so he guards all attacks, which is actually something that you want, right? And then he also has here basically a 50% chance to dodge, right? Or is it 30%? No, he has a 30% chance to dodge. And then he gets an extra, let's see here, 30% with 3 or more key spheres obtained. So, as far as dodging, God Goku is good. But you definitely want to get the guard. And one thing about him is that God Goku is a character that needs to be maintained, because having guard is good, but having guard with low defense is not good. So you do have to kind of manage Goku, God Goku, to keep stacking every single turn his attack and defense. He can do multiple attacks, which is really good, but again, he's a character that you want to make sure that he is stacking his defense for his guard to be really good if he's not dodging. I've used this character in the Fusions of Masu. Even the first stage, even type advantage, the AoEs are doing, well, this character at 55% anyway, are doing over 100k per normal, right? So, again, if you don't get the 6 key spheres, God Goku does have to rely on dodge. But, again, you know, if he doesn't dodge, because his defense isn't as high in the beginning, you will take a lot of damage. Where compared to Rosé, I would say, is just very underrated. And also, if we put Rosé this low, somewhere around here, it's like saying that Hirudegarn shouldn't be as high either, right? Because basically Rosé suffers the same thing as Hirudegarn, where this character is actually good, but he does suffer from his team, right? Which is Super Bosses or Corroded Body and Mind, which are pretty much outdated at this point. Well, for Corroded Body and Mind, it's definitely outdated. And Super Bosses is kind of okay. The only problem with Super Bosses is that you want to make sure you're with extreme class units, because he has big bad bosses. Now, the thing is that I haven't done a showcase for Rosé, but this boy can cook. Even at 55%, he can tank. I feel like his tanking is just very underrated, because for the first turn, he does have guard, but also before he attacks, he also has your 60% damage reduction. So AoEs aren't doing that much damage to this character. Now, once you actually, you know, get your attacks going, because he does get your additional attack and defense plus 30% with each attack performed, the boy can tank pretty well, and he can do a lot of damage. And what's crazy is that the extra buffs right about here doesn't have to be a super attack. It could be definitely a normal attack. Obviously, you want here to be a super attack because he does raise defense higher, right, with the extra stats here. But even if it's just a normal, like this Rosé, like, believe it or not, he can tank a super attack from, what's his face here? From Omega Shenron, right? The SCR phase. Like, I was completely shook when I did the run, which I didn't upload, but this guy can eat the super attack, which is crazy. So, especially when you actually go into his domain, right? Into this form right about here with the clones. That's where Rosé becomes really freaking dangerous. The only problem is that Rosé does suffer from domain, in a sense where if you're rocking, let's say, Fusions of Masu, the LR Tech Fusions of Masu, unfortunately, in the game of Dokkan, you can't have more than one domain activate. So it is kind of like a double-edged sword where you do have to choose which character you want to have the domain. But in my experience, when you are using Rosé, you actually want to use his domain as quickly as possible, because this clone version of him is just disgusting. Like, it's just so crazy what he can do. He can dish out like 60 plus million attack stats, depending on how many dupes you have this character, but I've seen this guy shoot like 24 million attack stats with just one support and a couple links activated. So, Rosé, I would say, is just much more consistent. Yes, the team super bosses isn't as good as God Goku's, but the defense is just much more consistent. So, I mean, if we were to take out basically the condition of super bosses and they just give him a flat 30% damage reduction, I think Rosé would be a lot higher. But he is going to suffer from his teams, so that's like the only thing, because he wants to be run with another character that has big bad bosses. So yeah, Rosé, again, he is underrated, I would say, in my opinion, but he's still really good. Now, again, this is the same situation where you could put God Goku above Rosé if you want to. I wouldn't argue with that, but based on my playstyle, I have a lot more fun, and I find he's just much more reliable with his defense. So I am going to put here Rosé at number 5. And then the top 4, I am going to go ahead and see. Number 4, who do you have as number 4? Oh, yeah, we have Gamma 1. Gamma 1, my god. This guy is insane. This guy came out 2 years ago. Well, kind of like almost 2 years ago. And he's still that good. Like, the fact that he has the guard, he has a damage reduction, he builds up defense. Yes, he gets more defense after he supers on his super attack effect, but it's not something that's required, right? He also has a nullification here as well, which I also forgot to mention. Rosé here also has a beam nullification, right? Which is a great chance of nullifying it. So, again, this guy can just slice through boss's super attack. But for Gamma 1, I'm just so impressed how well this guy does. Again, he's part of Movie Heroes, Artificial Life Form. The boy, like, again, Fusion Zamasu, like, he eats the super attack, which is really rare turn 1 or even turn 2. Like, I am just so impressed of this character. And the good thing about this character is that he's also going to be support type, but not for any category or class specifies for all allies. So you can really run him on any team, and he's also providing the defensive support in Key +1, which is really, really good. They really hit out the park with Gamma 1. Unfortunately, Gamma 2 does suffer from the same condition where basically he wants to attack first to get his defense. So AoEs definitely hurt Gamma 2. But Gamma 1, again, is that guy. He's just so incredible. He actually has like almost no flaws, in my opinion. But I guess power creep maybe. But again, this guy is just overall really, really good. So I don't know too deep about Gamma 1, but Gamma 1 is just, compared to these other characters, hell yeah. Hell to the yes, he's better. Right? He does need to build up quite a bit, but it's a character you want to put in slot 1. So it's not like it's the end of the world. So yeah, I'm going to put here Gamma 1. Again, his team is really good. It's going to be superheroes, which again, it's an incredible category. That's only going to get better. Or it's actually movie heroes here, sorry. That's only going to get better in the next couple of months. So Gamma 1, for sure, looking at the other characters, definitely is going to be here at number 4. Number 3, we are going to go ahead and put Hirudegarn here as number 3. Again, Hirudegarn's really, really good. He has the dodge. He has the crits. He has the additional super. At 55%, Hirudegarn is a really good character. But again, he suffers the same thing as Rosé. Same thing as Junior Piccolo. Is that his team is just really, really bad. Movie bosses, still hanging in there. Resurrected Warriors, very outdated category. So really, you know, the only difference between Hirudegarn and I would say Rosé is that Hirudegarn does not need like a full movie bosses or Resurrected Warriors team, right, to get his extra passive, where Rosé does need it for his extra damage reduction. So that's like the main difference. But again, Hirudegarn has a great chance of dodging. Again, he can crit, he can double super or do multiple super attacks, he stacks defense. The boy does it all. So I was really impressed with Hirudegarn, but again, his only drawback is going to be his teams. But once we get like DBS Super Broly, you know, the boy's going to cook here. So and also, once you actually get to the perfect form of Hirudegarn, it becomes even more busted, because once you actually get 3 dodges, next turn he has a guaranteed dodge, which is a very busted ability. So, yeah, Hirudegarn is a really good card. Definitely a huge buff to movie bosses, but again, the category itself, it just needs a bit more love because it's being, like, outdated. So, but the boy can perform. Even if you don't dodge, because I did a video on Hirudegarn against Omega Shenron in the first stage where you can't dodge, and he still did really good. So, again, Hirudegarn is a fantastic unit. Number 2, we have here, of course, Super Saiyan 3 Goku. really not much to say about this character. He has a very good standby mechanic. He also has here a 50% chance to dodge, and he's also a character that doesn't need that much maintenance because the thing is that he's going to be good in slot 2 or 3, and for Goku, because he's actually on part of all these categories right about here, there is a lot of characters we can put in slot 1. Right now, my favorite rotation is going to be here God Goku and Super Saiyan 3 Goku, because they share a couple links together. But it does fulfill the role because, again, God Goku, if you give him the 6 key spheres, is be a lot better defensively compared to this Goku. And yeah, so Goku really being a slot 2 character and has a 50% chance to dodge and does a ton of damage here as well. I will say he is very, very good, but which makes him really, really busted is going to be a standby. Very easy to get in my opinion, because on turn 3, if your HP is below 70%, you can actually use a standby, which also gives you a scouter and counters the super attack. So that is very, very good for Goku. Or if you're on turn 6, then you can also go ahead and use a standby. So again, Goku just has so much support to make him like top 2. So for that, I am going to go ahead and say he's going to be in number 2 here. And then for number 1, I mean, should be no surprise. The Prince of all Saiyans, the Prince of all TURs. Vegeta, Super Saiyan Vegeta is just built different. So, I mean, he guards, right? He has damage reduction. Can do multiple super attacks if you have Goku on the rotation. The boy is just insane, alright? Let's just not even talk about it. He is just disgusting, alright? He's basically the Tech Ultimate Gohan on steroids, right? That's going to age really, really well with time. So, I really don't have any negative about this Vegeta. Besides that, basically, once we get the 9th anniversary, he'll look like 10 times better because we're going to have DBS Broly. We're going to have the Easy for LR Vegeta from Tournament of Power. There's just so many good things or support coming for this character in the upcoming months here. One thing I also want to say here is that his active skill is, again, very easy to get. It's only on turn 3, and your HP has to be above 18%. So again, when we compare it to like Android 21, like, you know, turn 5 active skill only against 1 enemy, not the greatest active skill. While, you know, not being as good as this Vegeta where he has guard and damage reduction. So, again, I would definitely put your Vegeta as number 1. Alright, so we put Vegeta right here. And we're going to put here Goku at slot number 2. Now, if I was to go ahead and put the heroes on this list, I'd probably say, like, here for Super Saiyan 4 Vegito. And then maybe for Rosé, because he leads Super Saiyan 3. And he's not that great, I want to say. So I'm going to say maybe like somewhere here between Piccolo and Goku. Would I say he's better than 21? Yes, I would say. So probably like spot number 7 or 8. And then for Vegito, he would be like on terms with Gamma 1. Wait, would he be better than Hirudegarn? Maybe. This is where Vegito might be. 3 or 4, if I was to include them. But they're not really Dokkanfest. Because again, these guys are only once a year. But that's probably where I would put them. As far as honorable mention, I will... Kid Goku, my god. Very, very good. Just unfortunately, you know, time has passed. And also, Yamcha would be definitely an honorable mention. The last cards right here, absolutely do not make the cut. Piccolo and Gohan are probably the one of these I hate the most just because their team is just really bad. Super Trunks, again, Super Trunks can cook, but, you know, he's just very limited at the moment. Kale, not a, I mean, yeah, Kale I'm not a huge fan of. Bardock, ugh, not the greatest. And, yeah, I would probably do something like this here. Yeah, there we go. That's how I would put the didn't make it. But yeah, these guys, unfortunately, just haven't aged very well at all. So yeah, so that's going to be my list for the top 10 Dokkanfest TOR. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully the video was not too long. But yeah, I feel pretty good about this list. Again, you can make an argument about Rosé, but I feel like Rosé is definitely underrated. So I probably should make some videos on this guy. But, I mean, you can, I guess you can maybe do this here, right? You have Rosé number 6 and God Goku, but I like the consistency of Rosé. It's just, again, he just suffers from his team build. But So does Hirudegarn, and Hirudegarn can definitely carry. So there we go. That's gonna be my list. Again, I would potentially put here Vegito around this spot between Hirudegarn and Gamma 1, and then Rosé around Goku or Piccolo. But these guys are not really Dokkanfest, right? So that's gonna be it. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit the like button. Sub for more videos, come down below. And hopefully, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace!